Welcome back to the Guitar Temple. Glad you're here as always, of course. Of course, I'm glad you're here. Come on. Did you like and subscribe? Tell a friend. Did you tell a friend? Listen, I'm gonna ask you a favor. Could you go ahead and click on subscribe right now? Reason being, I only need 14 more people. 14 more Temple loyalists. 14 more people to be able to get to my first 1,000. And when I get to the 1,000, then I can do live shows and the like, right? So I would appreciate it if you could. Here at the cabin. So go ahead and please click subscribe. I don't care who you are, just click it. Give the guy a gift. I just need 14 people to just click on it. I should get that in a day, right? This way I can do live shows. I was just thinking, I said, when I was younger, I went to see a band, and the band was Fog Hat. I like to see her in a sweater, in a real tight sweater that don't fit. Remember that band? Anyways, Fog Hat was playing, and the radio announcer, you know, as the band was doing sound check, was up there, and he was asking a question. He says, what band, trivia question, you know, that type of thing. What band can hang around with the audience and the audience have no idea who they are? So I figured, I said, oh my God, I've got that one. I asked the other guys I was with and a couple of the girls. I says, hey, I know the answer to you. No, what would it be? I says, it's obvious. Kiss. Oh yeah. And anyways, lost that trivia question because the answer was the Eagles, if you can believe it. Yeah, I guess Don Henley could walk around the audience, and Mr. Frey could walk around the audience, and nobody know who they were, I guess. You know, the Eagles, by the way, that comes from Linda Ronstadt. The Eagles, okay, the Eagles were Linda Ronstadt's band, basically. Okay, pretty much the band, almost. And, you know, while she was doing other things, I guess, they went on and did their thing and called themselves the Eagles. That's where that comes from. Anyway, but talking about not being able to be recognized in public, I figured, well, let's first go eat it. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Have you guessed it? That's right. It leads up to today's guest. Let's talk about Buckethead.
unto itself, what's just as important as the foreground is the background. The house, the roof, the window, the garage, the basketball hoop. We know this house was either Buckethead's or a family member's house because it features numerous times in the Buckethead DVD's secret recipe. So, with all that in mind, we know for sure that this is Buckethead Unmasked. This footage apparently shows a young Brien Carroll in 1988 playing with a band called Class X. Little is known about the footage, and finding out any information on the band members leads to dead ends and rumours. All we have for now is the footage, which is pretty low quality and blurry. That being said, the style of playing, pick position and wrist movement is very Buckethead-esque. Whether this is really Buckethead Unmasked or a clever hoax, we don't know, and unless Buckethead himself confirms it, we probably never will.
If I can ask about Bucket, how's he feeling health-wise? Because I know he had a health scare.
Yeah, I think he's feeling better. You know, he's really trying to work it out. And, you know, I think the thing is with his medication is where, you know, if he takes the medication, I think he feels better. But I think it also has some side effects and shit like that. So I think that's where he's, you know, bums out and gets down on him, you know, and stuff like that.
And since nobody but Buckethead's close friends knew of a health scare until it was discussed on the Coming Alive podcast, we know for sure that the podcast was 100% real. Which also further confirms that Buckethead's real name is Brien Carroll, because that's what he's introduced as on the podcast.
Brien Carroll, who performs under the name Buckethead, is one of the top 10 fastest guitar shredders of all time.
In 1989, it's fair to say that Michael Jackson was one of the most famous and recognizable people on the planet. He had just released his iconic video for Smooth Criminal and finished his record-setting World Tour Bad. So it's unsurprising that a pre-Buckethead Brien Carroll listed Michael Jackson as an influence when asked in a 1989 article for Guitar Player magazine. In the article, Carroll also listed Jennifer Batten as an influence, who was the lead guitarist for Jackson's aforementioned Bad tour. Shortly after, Brien Carroll became Buckethead and spent the next few years touring with his band The Delhi Creeps, whilst also releasing several solo and collaboration albums. Incidentally, the plastic Michael Jackson mask has since become somewhat of a collector's item among Buckethead fans. So if you're interested in the origins of the mask, I'd recommend checking out these channels. Just under 2 months later, on June 25th, 2009, shortly before his 51st birthday, Michael Jackson passed away. 2 weeks later, the homepage of Buckethead's website paid tribute to Jackson with a sketch of the pop icon along with a free downloadable track, The Homing Beacon. Buckethead would also pay numerous tributes to Jackson throughout the second leg of his 2009 tour. Throughout his career, Buckethead has always shown support of Michael Jackson when others were quick to turn their back. In many ways, I'm sure Buckethead could relate to the life of Jackson, whether it was through the love of music, Disneyland, the connection of being labelled as weird, or the need for privacy whilst at the same time doing what you were born to do in front of thousands of people. By now, most of you have seen or heard about the recent documentary that came out about Michael Jackson. Whilst this video isn't about that documentary, we all have our opinions about